NEA, ICP, and Celestia. They're great coins. I think we can all agree on that. They're going to do well. But here's a take you probably haven't heard before. These three coins have unique aspects that I think are great reasons as to why they are truly going to explode. Now, if you understand what I'm going to overlay in today's video, you will be able to apply this to every single one of your other coins as well. This isn't three definitive unique things that these coins have. They do these things really well, which is why I've gone ahead and thrown explode in the title, but yet it's things that apply to a lot of the quality coins that I look at every single day. So get your notepad out, guys. This is going to be a lesson, not just on these three coins, but also how cryptocurrency works in general. Now, do not forget, if you find yourself enjoying today's video, you can support myself and all I do around here to bring you high quality crypto content by hitting that like button. And also, for your sake, subscribe, because that will allow you to achieve all of your crypto goals in this bull run. First of all, welcome back to the unofficial crypto casting couch. Now, one unique thing we do in our private community for everyone that utilizes the Bullrun cheat sheet, which is taking apart one thing you're looking at right here, which is essentially the market dominance growth from all of these altcoins lows, usually in October of last year, up until now. And what we can find if this thing is up or down, which is the percentages we'll do over here, is basically if these coins are beating the overall market. So if these coins are up in terms of percentage, as in they've gained from their lows until now, the market cap size, it means that they're actually beating the market. Okay, they're gaining on the market at a faster pace than the market can grow. If they're losing market dominance, usually means the market is in general growing faster than these coins are, which is not a good thing. Okay, so these coins here you can see, first of all, I've outlined, and I will zoom in for you guys. We've outlined Celestia over here. It's up 43%. Now, we do have some coins like you can see Bonk ahead of it that actually do have quite a substantial amount more percent gained. This is usually meme coins. Meme coins, you can see Dog with Hat, are by any means way more than most other coins. Most coins are down to some degree, and the ones that are up are usually, give or take, up more than 20%. Some of the more prominent coins you've probably heard of this bull run, okay? And it makes total sense. If the market cap has gained substantially, and even on the days like now and the weeks that we're down are still up substantially, it goes to show there's quite a bit of strength in them. Likewise over here, ICP up 31%, and most notably out of all of these three coins, NEA Protocol up 118%. Very good in general. Now, first of all, this tells me, without a shadow of a doubt, there is interest in these coins. These coins are more interesting rather than other coins in the market, at least in the coins that we're tracking here. These are usually the top 100, 200 coins, okay? So first of all, that's a big green tick, but wait, it definitely gets better. Part of my research strategy method I call my Pumpamentals research plan. We cover something here that's very important. First of all, the narrative and the meme. This thing and this thing are by far the two most important. But what I don't cover enough is the third, popularity. The popularity here is essentially a booster to pump the price of the coin. Take Cardano versus Bitcoin. Cardano pumped over here in the last cycle pretty much well before its all-time high and before Bitcoin's all-time high. And matter of fact, after the perceived first all-time high of Bitcoin. And it had this massive spike due to popularity, due to something that caused a sudden interest in the coin. This is an announcement like, hey guys, we're doing this in a month, check us out. Or, hey, we have a roadmap event that's come up and we're looking to upgrade the network. People usually know about these things months or even years before they actually happen. And sometimes there can be things that are very sudden, that happen even without most of the team knowing, that can cause positive or negative sentiment, like a shock. And so we have to identify this because obviously, if you're looking at Cardano's chart right here, this is a clear way in which we can pretty much take profits out of our coin, if not leave the coin altogether. We don't have to wait for that massive spike to have the all-time high. Actually, at this point in time, it was Cardano's all-time high. So notice that these things pop up and they can have more than one popularity event, if you will, more than one massive announcement, and we can take advantage. And that's what I want to look at and focus in on today with these three coins specifically. You can apply the popularity side of research to any of your altcoins, and today I'm going to help you identify what causes these So this massive spikes, usually being the temporary all-time high in a bull run for a coin. Obviously, in the moment, we think that's obviously a pretty good pump. So first of all, with all of these three coins, we got to look at Lunar Crush. Lunar Crush is a great way to gauge engagements. And engagements are important. Why? Well, because this tells us how many people are clicking on links or anything to do with that particular search term. In this case, Near Protocol. We'll look at ICP and obviously Celestia in this video as well. Now, what you actually want to have a look at here is the average. So over the last 12 months, the average daily interactions for Near Protocol is 1.17 million. Usually, a billion market cap should be about 1 million interactions or engagements. This is according to myself. So other people might say something differently. I don't really know anyone else that looks at this sort of thing though. So in this case, this tells us there's a certain amount of interest every single day for Near Protocol. The higher, the better. The higher, the more talked about the coin. Well, it can be a lot more bullish because there's more of a community for when, a particular event, again, a popularity event, a massive boost or interest in the coin, well, it's going to send it skyrocketing. Like you can see over here, all of a sudden there was an interest in Near Protocol and it went to 50 million interactions on that day, setting the project up in price, okay? So these charts don't always mean up equals price goes up, down equals price goes down. This is gauging overall interest in the coin. Now, one particular announcement I want to point out, the first and foremost, right? It's the most obvious form of popularity you can think of, which is roadmap events. Near Protocol has a massive roadmap event on the horizon. And it's fundamentally what makes the project unique. When you're looking at roadmap announcements, it's very easy to think, oh, this is a pretty cool upgrade. It might be something like, hey, we're looking to incorporate ZK accounts or account abstraction into our or native wallet, for example. Most people, you're probably going to yourself right now, what the hell does that even mean, Kyron? So think about it like that. If this announcement is a massive head scratcher to you, it's likely to other people as well. We're looking for massive changes to the project like a mainnet, for example, sharding, not sharting, sharding, right? We're looking for things that will actually change the project or things that make the project unique, like Near Protocol's Nightshade upgrade. So Nightshade is fundamentally what makes Near Protocol, like I've said many times before. And in their most recent upgrade or update to their Nightshade announcement, we can see at the very, very bottom here, they're pretty much looking to start in early 2025, the next phase of their Nightshade sharding approach, okay, which will pretty much include something called dynamic resharding. That might be a little bit complicated for you guys sitting at home. Basically allows the applications on Near Protocol to jump between different shards to ensure that the network maintains complete speed and also doesn't congest the network as well, to put it in like the most simple way possible. But once this is done, once Nightshade 3.0 is done, from there, it's just tweaks. Now, the way in which you find something like this can be through videos like I made here about 18 months ago, where I detailed not just sharding and Nightshade in particular, which is sort of this here, but how Near Protocol works. So listening to influencers, in which you can come back to Lunar Crush, and you can also come down here and have a look at the top creators and follow these people, which I would recommend you do. Or guess what? This might be a massive shocker to some of you who just love watching YouTube videos, is to actually do some of that work yourself. It's very easy. Just go to Google, type in Near Protocol roadmap, Mina Protocol roadmap, ABC coin roadmap, and just look into it a little bit. Find these little roadmap events and figure out yourself which of these sound the most appealing. Now, I get it. Some of you beginners are like, well, I don't know what's appealing, Kyron. That's when you have to do a little bit more work. Understand a little bit about where you're parking your hard-earned cash. We're not born wealthy, guys. Understand this. It might take you a few months to go, oh, that's what he means by mainnet. That's what a testnet is. That's what this is. That's what that is. But at least now you know, and when these events happen, you can expect a certain amount of interest on top of the already static engagements that coin is getting, okay? If they're averaging, let's say, 10,000 engagements per day, which is quite poor even for a micro cap. Well, I'm sorry, but likely a big announcement isn't going to spike it to 20 million. Very unlikely. So we're kind of looking at baseline engagements, see how far it can roughly spike. Now that was roadmap announcements, but what about the second? This is a bit more harder to tell. This is announcements, okay? This is things that can come up suddenly based on the history of the coin. Perfect example is ICP. So first of all, ICP's engagements are shocking. For the size of the coin being like 6 billion market cap, whatever it is right now, having 133,000 interactions would be quite bad. That would be a red flag for me. But I know for a fact this is wrong and Lunar Crush is pulling in the wrong information because these guys were like 1 million or 2 million not long ago. obviously the API is not picking up a certain thing, and in this case, it is very skewed. ICP is one of the hottest coins in the market, in my opinion. Something has gone wrong here, okay? So I'm not looking to that, but I just wanted to show you for argument's sake. Okay, I don't know any other coin that has this mistake on Lunar Crush right now, so most other coins should be okay. But looking at their sort of, let's just say, Twitter homepage here, what's one thing that sort of speaks to you? Well, of course, it's their AI running fully on the blockchain, pretty much the thumbnail, if you will, right? Now, that in of itself doesn't really tell you a whole lot. It gives you an indication these guys are focusing on AI. But if you have a look at all of their recent announcements, and by the way, guys, this took me like 3 minutes. This just took me a little bit of interest in the coin I personally own. Obviously, I own this coin, right? To go, okay, I'm going to scroll through every day and figure out what Dfinity is doing. And obviously, I've found this stuff pretty quickly. So these guys, if you actually listen to these videos, focusing a lot on putting AI completely and utterly on the blockchain into their smart contract system, okay? And if you just kind of listen to Dominic Williams here speak, the founder and CEO, you begin to get this feeling, and again, it all is just a feeling, it's a risk and reward. How likely is something to happen versus how likely is it not to happen, that they are planning something big. And there will likely, again, risk and reward, likely be something that occurs over the next 12 to 18 months, which is when the bull run should be, continuing, that they announced something large regarding AI. We know they react very well from AI news because in the past they have exploded based on an announcement that they ran and run AI completely on the blockchain.
We're focused on getting really sophisticated large language models like Llama 3 onto the internet computer. The primary current limitation is that internet computer execution environment runs smart contracts that can have a maximum of 4 gigabyte persistent main memory. And that's because it's using 32-bit WASM. A bit like Windows 95 was 32-bit back in the day. Soon, we're going to put proposals into the network nervous system that will move the internet computer to 64-bit WASM. And that will make it possible to increase the amount of persistent main memory that smart contracts have as needed. We're sort of hoping we can increase it to something like 15 gig, which will enable you to fit, for example, a 7-8 gigabyte distillation of Llama 3 into a smart contract, which will be absolutely mega.
Mega, to say the least. The smart contracts on ICP, sometime in the next 12 to 18 months, you would like to hope. Again, hope is an important thing here because this isn't guaranteed. We don't have a roadmap we're looking at here. This is all speculation that they announced something to do with AI being allowed to be fully ran, and not just AI like Llama 3, for example, a very high-intensity AI model within any smart contract, which will pretty much flock developers towards the network, flock interest, spike the project up, again, having something that looks very similar to this on Cardano, if not even more. Again, keep in mind the bull run will be around back then as well, or around in the future, not back then. You know what I mean? So in this case, Dominic also hints at there being a big update in September as well.
We're bullish about something else too, extremely bullish about something else too. I can't talk about today, but we'll come back to that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to say about what these guys are doing. And again, based on my understanding of everything, all the smoke and mirrors being given to us here, there's a big AI update or updates coming out for ICP. And guess what? AI is the largest and most, I think, explosive narrative of this bull run. So that's your second right there, is speculation based on present and past news. And lastly, it's the vesting, okay? So essentially, this can be a really good or a really bad thing. Let me get into Celestia here and explain a little bit more. So these guys, first of all, have a lot of engagements. 4.6 million daily active interactions is like one of the best, particularly because the market cap is about $1 billion right now. So this is 4 times, almost 5 times larger than the average, which is incredible in my personal opinion. That's a very, very big tick again, because if there is an announcement of some sort, there's going to be a lot of immediate interest in this, which could send it either direction, of course, depending on the quality of the news. And here is one of the updates I want to bring your attention to. It's vesting. I'm going to make a third video on this here. I've made 2 detailed videos on this already, but people still don't understand it, which is understandable because most influencers are out here peddling a different story, and we're all brought up to believe things work in a different way. Crypto works differently based on vesting. I don't want to get into it, but what I do want to say here is that Celestia is giving a lot of their tokens out on their vesting to VCs, to venture capitalists who are designed to make money for their investors. So if we actually use token unlocks here and we remove all of the let's say invasive, non-dangerous, if you will, entities getting tokens like they pretty much all are at this point, public allocation, which is essentially the airdrops and the research and development, you can see here that a massive unlock coming up here for all of the VCs is very soon, okay? We have an unlock here for early backers, initial core contributors, and also the early backers. And if we scroll down, these guys are actually getting 33% of their own distribution unlocked at this time. So they'll all have 33%, which is kind of nuts when you actually think about it. So this is very, very bad, and this is a negative thing for Celestia. This will cause, I firmly do believe, a situation we saw over here for Optimism, where Optimism pretty much doubled its supply, and it all went to VCs as well, these third parties, which, have a look at Optimism's chart back then. On the day of the unlock, nothing happened because these guys didn't sell. The unlock happened, it actually pumped, and then it dumped, but only dumped 3% overall, open to close, so it didn't move down that much. And that would have been from retail being scared, selling off back here. It moved sideways essentially for about a week or two, and then it dumped down 35%. That's when they decided to sell. It moved sideways and then re-recovered. So these things are recoverable. You have to understand that. However, it depends on how hard it dumps, how much these VCs decide to take their profit. Retail gets involved, and if retail gets involved, then it can really begin to capitulate and tumble down very, very rapidly. A lot of these times it will recover, especially if it's a time of mass bullishness. It will recover, it will be eaten up again. Maybe even these VCs buy up their own supply for a quick maybe 1 or 2 more X. It does depend, but you have to be aware of it. You have to know these things because, again, if it's a situation like PYTH over here, where the unlock itself is not bad, it can be a really good time for us to scoop up at the dip. Now, I think Celestia would be much the same. I think Celestia will have a much harder crash than a coin like PYTH. But in saying that, just like Optimism over here, it does depend when this crash happens, when this unlock happens. If this unlock happens in a time of pretty bearishness, it's probably going to dump harder than and take longer to recover than what we may want. But to bring it back to PYTH, if we remove all of the third parties, all of the people like the team, the advisors, the third parties like VCs, and we get rid of them all, so that includes the publisher rewards, that includes the ecosystem grants, that includes the protocol development, that includes the community airdrop because they already have all their tokens. You can see how small and minute the little unlocks actually are here. They're very ever so slight, tiny, tiny, tiny unlocks. And so most of the time, okay, there isn't an actual sell-off on the day of these unlocks in a situation of PYTH because these guys don't have enough of the supply to really tank the price. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But PYTH, in this case, if you guys remember, actually dumped substantially before the unlock itself. On the day of the unlock, it dumped and then went straight back up again, or the day before, because retail, people like me and you, get worried that there's going to be a massive dump. They don't know how to read this sort of thing. And that's when we can scoop up the massive wick or the drop from a day or two, basically, right? So these things are invaluable for you to understand, in my personal opinion. Now, I do think Celestia, again, will do very well this bull run. It's the one on this list that, again, I kind of showed a bit more skepticism towards. But I do think, depending on the unlock time, it could have a longer lasting effect or a very short temporary effect. So with that being said, guys, thank you all for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. And if you have, hit that like button. I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you all very, very soon. Take good care. Bye.